Okay, so hello everyone. I hope everyone got a coffee and is now well caffeinated and ready to go. My name is Benedikt Bramböck. With me today is Philipp Acsany. We both work at ATypI in Berlin. And today we're going to talk to you about tools, specifically those for people who design, type, do from production work, and publish typefaces. But before we get started, I have to put in this small disclaimer for everyone who feels the same way as Steven. There's going to be a lot of monospaced type in this presentation and also on our website, so bear with us. But let's get started. So tools have always been an important part of the font creation process, all the way going back to Gutenberg times with his adjustable hand mold, which has revolutionized the way type was made back then. Or also with the pantograph, here nicely demonstrated by Mr. Gaudi, which made it easier to produce different fonts from the same master, something that is also came back then later with photo type. Then 26 years ago at ATypI in Warsaw, Icarus was introduced, which kind of led the way for a lot of the concepts that digital type is worked with, produced, and designed today. Today, we are in the nice position that we have a lot of choice in terms of how we want to create our typefaces. And so there's pretty much an editor for everyone. And there is a whole big universe of tools, additional software, command line tools, which we saw earlier. And all this makes it increasingly more difficult to actually find the stuff that you need for your workflow. With things like resources, it's pretty much the same thing. In our daily workflow, doing front production and front engineering stuff, we end up looking at a lot of those websites that you sometimes only know from the layout and you know what information to find there. But yeah, a lot of times you end up having open 3 or 4 tabs with made us think, yeah, but why? All this information is openly available, and so there should be like a central resource where we can...
which we call the Alphabet database, and it's for our daily workflow, a database we are currently using in-house, but we thought about it, and it actually developed into a hub where our font engineering process, as Benedikt said, was kind of streamlined because we didn't have to go to different resources, but we had one hub for us, which is especially interconnected and structured for the daily type design use. So you've seen the screen with all these different websites, and this is how the database looks. And at the end, it's about the content. And this is the reason we want to show you how we interact with this database. So today, we will present you 2 tools, which are designed for type designers, for font engineers, or foundries, or designers in general. And they both interact with this database. And the first one is the character set checker. It's on our website. And with this tool, you can check a font against a certain set of check blocks, which are actually character sets. And in this case, it's language systems, Unicode blocks, and character sets, which are predefined from different organizations. The character set checker, there you see the content of the database, so it's not that bad. And one thing which is important to us, it is updated. So there's not old data, and you don't know when was the last time there was some things added to it, but it's Unicode 9, and we need it in our daily workflow, so we make sure it is up to date. And because it's a big list, we made it possible to filter this list, so you can search for certain names of this so-called check blocks, and select the character sets you want your font to check against. So here we have this Windows code page, the Windows character set, and now we want to add some Cyrillic. And with this Cyrillic part, you can select a whole bunch, and you see at the bottom which check blocks you have at this moment. If you want to have more information about this check block, you can see which characters are in it. And that's where the Noto font helped us very much, as well as the Symbola, because it made us possible to actually see the characters which are in this character set. And one thing which was also important to us, besides being up to date, is not to create just another standard. Like we have a new database and we have our thinking about how it should work, but it's important to us that we're building on the standards already available. So there's nothing new invented from us, but these check blocks are there, and you can test against them. You see the coverage. If you want to go into detail, you can click to this check block and see which characters are actually supported and what not. And so in this point, you also have required characters, punctuation, and auxiliary, and you can see for your font which characters are in there, and you want to add them, maybe. So that's the report you get after you have worked with the character set checker. Next is the character set builder. So the character set checker might be at a point when you already have developed the font and you want to check the coverage. The builder could be more a tool for the beginning of the type design process. Maybe when you start a foundry and you're just wondering with what character set you want to start. And with this tool, we give you the possibility to build your custom character set out of these check blocks. Again, now we call them build blocks because you're not checking against them. But again, this is the data from the database. It's the same information as before, and you can collect them together as you want. As I said, it's nice to use it at the beginning of a project, but we saw that when we talked with foundries, that actually when they have to deal with customers, they say, well, we want this language or that language, we want that it supports Polish. It's always a question, well, what Polish? Because there are different blocks and you have to decide which to use. So the character set builder might be an option to communicate with customers about the actual characters you want to. So you build your character set as you wish. And when you're finished, you can you have an export tab, and in this export tab you see all the characters you have collected. You can hover over them and see the different information. And that's the thing I didn't go into in depth with the character set checker, the export function. So you interact with tools, and sometimes you're stuck in those tools. For us, we want that our tools are in your font engineering process and you can use them, or you just want to have the glyph names. So besides of the character representation, the Unicode, we also have the glyph name, and you can copy them to your clipboard and use them later. this is currently a web app. So you go to a font editor afterwards and paste in there. The app is built in Django, and we are currently thinking about more export options, but the clipboard is always there for you, so this might be the most streamlined way to put these characters into your font editor. Yeah, and speaking of font editors and speaking of web apps, sometimes you don't want to open the browser, or you just want to stay in your font editor. And that's why we've made some things in the background that it's possible to actually use our database from inside the browser with plugins and extensions and your own scripts. So it's important to us that, as I said, it's part of the process. It's not something for itself. And one of the most logic things to do with something like that is have an API for it. So with the tools and this database, we will provide an API where you can connect to from font editors, as I said, with plugins, scripts, and so on, but also from other websites. So if you're a foundry and you always get questions about for itself, and the API gives the information back, all in your website, and the customer doesn't know that you connected actually to the Alphabet database. And another thing besides of this connection is with web apps, they are nice and all, but as you saw, you have those formula fields, and you have to deal with one font at a time, or maybe more. But as a foundry, you deal with big libraries. So have your own performance things in mind, and check those things with the tools we just presented from command line or from the editor of your choice. Yeah, so that's a quick overview about the both tools, the API, and as I said, we don't want to have it like this is our stuff and we do font engineering and it's nice to us, but we think these tools, this API, it's now 15 minutes, it's quite of a rush, so there are more features you might find handy. Speak to us, we'll show it to you, or write us an email. So you can get a preview for those tools. And the public launch will be on 1st of October at our website, alphabet.type.com, and we are thrilled to see what you can do with our tools. So, yeah, hopefully you like it. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks. Hello, thank you. Any questions? Do you have any questions? We're running ahead of schedule, so we can take a question or two. Okay, if not, all right, thank you very much.